Well, I hope everybody's doing great on this absolutely gorgeous Saturday evening up here in west central Minnesota. What I wanted to do a quick video on today was just talking about kind of reclaiming an old pasture habitat. So I'm going to just kind of talk a little bit about what I'm working on today and what I've been working on for the last few years out here. So this is an old pasture. Hasn't had cattle in it for probably, I think around 18 years now. Kind of loops all the way back around that way. But it's, I think it's roughly 40, 50 acres, something like that. Maybe not quite that big. But yeah, it's kind of sat fallow here for about 18 years, and you can see that it's created some decent deer habitat, but I wouldn't call it good by any means. Most of the grass here after the winter is laying flat, so it didn't provide any cover over the winter. We had planted trees in it right after we took the cattle out of it, and we had 2 very, very dry years. And you can see there's just some scattered spruce trees. We got some scattered oaks, but we had a pretty good kill on the trees because we had drought years when we put them in. So what I've been trying to do the last 3 years is kind of just reclaim it and make it good for deer habitats. So some of the things that I'm doing is we have the hillside kind of off in the distance there. I'll see if I can zoom in. You can see it look just a little bit different color from everything else, a little darker. Well, that hillside is going to be going into some switchgrass. I bought the Shawnee switchgrass. And I did a frost seeding on that, so we'll see how that goes this year. But I prepped the ground last fall, killed it, burnt it, and then now I laid my seed down here in March and just sprayed some Simazine, a pre-emergent spray on it here about a week ago. And I'll probably hit it with 1 round of glyphosate in the next week or 2 once the cool season grasses emerge. But we'll see how that takes. And the theory behind that is it's mostly going to be used for screening, to screen that area behind it. It's a good area for bedding in the pasture here. And also maybe provide a little bit of bedding kind of up over the hillside there. Sometimes the deer, I would see a lot of deer beds over there. I think they were just bedding there at night, but maybe if I can add some switchgrass in, it'll help to promote some maybe even daytime bedding. But it's about 2 acres. Other things I've done a ton of tree planting. I would say a majority of this pasture has trees grown in it right now. I threw some conifers in just along the line there. Those were ones I transplanted. I think they were some type of spruce. Just a couple years ago. You can't quite see them in the video, but they're there for screening, just to kind of screen from the neighbors over here. I got some stream coal willows. Got some stream coal willows planted for screening and some bedding. There's a good ravine that rolls right through the middle of the pasture here. You can kind of see I'll loop back this way. In that ravine, I got all kinds of stuff. I got some red osier dogwood, got a little bit of willow. I got some American or wild plum. Yeah, but they're kind of peppered throughout the whole ravine. I think the sun might be a little bright, but I'll look back here. Hopefully it shows up. And I've also mixed in some of these hybrid poplars that we got over to the south here. Those were cut last year. This land's just recently sold, and it was full of hybrid poplars. Well, the Amish bought it, and they reclaimed most of it for field, but they left a little bit of hybrid poplar on the edge, so I'm taking cuttings off of that, and I've kind of scattered a few in for screening. And the deer really did love to bed in them, but mostly just to add in some diversity. Over here, they grow quick, so I kind of just mixed them in where other trees weren't doing so good. So yeah, lots and lots of tree planting. We got a little area down there. It's kind of brushy. The deer actually do kind of hold up in it. I'm probably going to go in the summer and do some clearing of prickly ash. out of it, just to make little pockets to promote. There's some good species. I think there's some wild plum in there and stuff, so I'll probably free up the plums and kind of create little bedrooms in there by getting rid of some of that nasty prickly ash. And I don't think the deer mind the prickly ash, but when it gets super thick, I don't see them go in it. So I'm gonna take care of some of that, clean it out, maybe spray it. But yeah, the whole goal here is just to create all this area into good, strong deer habitat. I got 1,000 spruce trees coming. I've planted 1,000 spruce in here last year. I'm going to add another 1,000 spruce in this year just to get some thermal covers. There's some screening purposes with that. But yeah, it should look very different in, I would say, even 5 years out here. We've had some good wet summers. If we can get 1 or 2 more good wet summers to really get those trees to look good, I'll be excited to see what happens out here. I mean, this area, the deer do like it. I shot my biggest buck with the bow just right down in that ravine right there. Actually, the sun might be too bright, but I was sitting on that rock pile right over there, and that's where he was. Yeah, it's a little too bright, but yeah, he was working a doe down in that ravine, and he was a 160 inch deer, and got him. There we go. Zoom out a little bit. Got him on a spot and stock. So yeah, they like that area. Shot my bull buck last year over that direction. They like this area. I just want to help them hold up in it during the daytime a little bit more, so that's a little bit more huntable. Yeah, and then we got our food more off to the edges over that direction. That's kind of the destination food, and once it all grows up, we'll come up with a good hunt strategy for this area. And I mean, when you're planting trees and things like that, you always want to be thinking in the back of your head what your plan of attack is. Don't just be random about it. So there definitely is a method to why I'm planting certain trees where and how it's gonna tie into the hunting strategy. But yeah, it'll be exciting to be able to actually see how that plays out when the trees start to grow. So yeah, I just want to do a quick video on that, tree planting, one of my favorite things to do in the spring, and show you that I think reclaiming old habitat is one of my favorite things to do as far as habitat management practices. So, hope you all have a great day. God bless.